Contrast states like Florida and California. California basically in lockdown, and their numbers aren't that different from Florida.
Look, there's so much of this virus that we think we understand, that we think we can predict, that's just beyond, a little bit beyond our explanation. What we do know is that the more careful people are, the more they mask and social distance, and the quicker we vaccinate, the quicker it goes away and the less it spreads.
And that was Andy Slavitt, White House senior advisor on COVID. Now, California has added about 9,000 more new cases than Florida in the last 7 days, but the total number of COVID cases as a percentage of the population are similar. Of course, Californians are facing much stricter lockdown measures than folks in the Sunshine State. I want to talk to Ari Fleischer. He's a Fox News contributor. Any sympathy for those folks at the White House? They're going out there. They're trying to pass a $2 trillion COVID relief bill. And they really still say they can't get a handle on it. They don't know what's going on. Things are changing.
Yes, Dana, a lot of sympathy, actually. When it comes to governing, it's not as easy as it is campaigning when you just say, well, we're going to shut down the virus, as Joe Biden once said. You know, the other thing that really is just so puzzling about all the science and everything else we've been told that's supposed to work is the COVID numbers have been plunging across America, the number of new cases, the number of hospitalizations, here in the middle of the winter. You know, we were told winter is when it would soar, and instead it's dropping. So I think he's right when he says there's a lot about COVID that nobody understands.
Okay, so a little bit beyond our explanation. Doesn't that kind of peel back the curtain, Ari? I mean, think about all the heat the Trump administration took, and now they're in the line of fire.
Well, that's right, and that was my point about when Joe Biden said during the campaign, I'm going to shut down the virus. You know, where was the press saying you're exaggerating? That's unrealistic. They just went with it. And when Joe Biden on December 2nd said, it's a fact, it's just a fact, I'm going to level with you, there will be 250,000 more deaths between now and January, and instead there were only 76,000 deaths. Where was the press saying Joe Biden is using COVID to exaggerate how bad it is? That way he'll eventually get credit for how good it eventually becomes. You know, they slammed Donald Trump for everything, and they're still so easy on Joe Biden, and that's what troubles me. It's good to start to see a little bit pushback, like you showed in that interview, but it's still it's a lot easier being Joe Biden than
I think
Donald
where
Trump.
I see this pushback coming from lots of different places now is on the schools reopening issue. Here's Kamala Harris on the Today Show after the town hall that Biden had on Tuesday night. Watch.
Was it a mistake for the CDC to connect school reopening to how much infection there is in a community?
Well, let's first say this, that in the last 4 weeks, schools are opening every week. More schools are opening. They want to go back to school. We want them to go back to school. Teachers want to teach.
But what about that CDC guidance then? That's the question.
All right, do you start to see this? This is my sense of it, is that parents out there, Republicans or Democrats, doesn't matter. Like they are agreeing on this issue that kids need to be back in school, that it's safe to be back in school, and the administration seems to be on the wrong side of this.
Yeah, when something goes wrong and it's brought right inside your home, when it changes your lifestyle, when it changes your ability to work as a parent, when it changes your ability to get your kids out the door so they can get an education, that hurts. And people are fed up with it. It's been going on too long. So when the head of the CDC said that you can safely put students in school, and you see the administration is just not doing that, they're listening to the unions, particularly in the cities, who say everybody has to be vaccinated first when there's no scientific evidence for that, yeah, it's really starting to frustrate a lot of parents. And Joe Biden, who had his town hall this week, said, I'll always level with you. He is not leveling with people when it comes to sending their kids back to school.
Do you sense
it's safe, they should go.
Do you sense a shift in the media? I mean, a moment ago you said that they just went with it, referring to the information that they were given over the past year.
You know, Bill, it's fascinating. When Donald Trump was on the scene, they were really easy on Joe Biden. When it came down to, are they going to cover the story in a way that makes Joe Biden look bad or Donald Trump look bad, it was 99-1 make Donald Trump look bad. But now that that Donald Trump is gone from the scene, you do start to see some anchors, and you just played them, pushing back on Biden administration officials. It's welcome. It should have been that way all along. It should always have been 50-50, roughly 50-50. But at least now they're starting to get their sea legs of opposition back. I'd like to see more of it. I'd like to see it every day.
Just to put a button on this, California's percentage of cases based on population is 8.8%. Florida's at 8.3%. Right. And these are two different planets, Ari. Just last comment.
And you look at how the press covered the governor of Georgia, the governor of Florida, the governor of South Dakota, all Republicans. They've been turned against them since COVID began. And that's the bias that I see in the press coverage when, as you point out, what's the difference between California with its lockdowns and its effect on COVID versus Florida's? I'd much rather be in Florida.
No doubt.